Here's Krusty being Springfield's favorite clown. And here's Krusty being just the worst.
Before the cops come, swallow all these illegal pills, then run to the vet.
Poor Mr. Teeny. As you can see, Krusty the Clown is a certified criminal, but how long does someone like him deserve behind bars? Well, court is now officially back in session, and the first count against the clown is the distribution of harmful or toxic merchandise. Krusty might be one of the biggest stars in Springfield, but he'd be a total nobody if it wasn't for the kids who are his most loyal and fierce fans. And that might sound sad, but trust me, Krusty wouldn't have it any other way. Because kids are easy targets for marketing. I mean, really, they'll buy and eat anything. Well, use their parents to buy it. You know what I mean.
Said you were going to study.
Oh, my stomach.
Gee, there's nothing a 10-year-old wants more than a jagged piece of metal. Just, preferably not as a bite of their breakfast. The hunk of metal starts to cause Bart some real issues, even if no one believes him.
Oh, I mean it. It really hurts.
Kids are so naive. When you get to be our age, you'll learn a few things. Sign says, do not feed the bears. You'd better not feed the bears. Now get to school, boy.
Marge sends Bart to school anyway, thinking he's just a boy crying wolf, and his teacher thinks the same too.
Can I please go to the nurse?
Maybe you really are in pain. It would be cruel not to let you go.
They're about to find out that he wasn't faking it after all, though, because as soon as he steps foot in the nurse's office, he passes out.
Superintendent Chalmers, I'd like you to meet our lunch lady Doris.
Why is that student lying unconscious on the floor?
Bart's quickly rushed to the hospital as the jagged metal piece has caused his appendix to go into meltdown and he's at risk of it popping.
This boy's appendix is inflamed and about to burst. Make it easier to find once I get in there.
Hibbert puts him under the knife and removes the metal chunk. Obviously, Bart and the family didn't know about it, so when it's revealed, they're pretty upset, to the point that they're gonna sue Krusty for his stupid mistake.
The Krusty O Cereal Corp has settled your case for $100,000.
What kind of legal fees?
Eye-watering, extreme legal fees.
How much of the 100,000 do I get? $500? Cool.
Glad you're happy. Let's roll.
At $500 is a lot of cash for a 10-year-old, but if anything, the $100,000 they paid in legal fees is pretty poor anyway. I can do much better than that. The cost of a week-long hospital stay and having an appendix out is $60,000 anyway, so $40K for putting Bart's life at risk isn't right. This is a pretty open and shut case of distribution of harmful or toxic merchandise, so there should be a flat $250,000 fee to Bart as well as the medical fees on top. So that's $310,000 in fines, and he'll be lucky, very lucky, to escape prison. But to give him the benefit of the doubt, he does describe the item boldly on the box, and he didn't intend for Bart to eat it. So I truly doubt Krusty would face any time inside for this, although I'm sure he'd take 5 years in prison instead of that big bill. As well as being one of Springfield's most loved entertainers, Krusty has gone into the fast food business, as I'm sure you all know. It's not the greatest food on earth, which is the understatement of the century, but considering everything is vegetarian friendly now, Krusty decides to launch his own veggie burger.
We know times have changed. Introducing the Mother Nature Burger. May take a yummy bite. Tastes like a healthy future.
Yeah, so nice you couldn't stomach a bite, Krusty. I know your game. Despite the fact he clearly hates it, the marketing is so strong that everyone in Springfield flocks to Krusty Burger to try the new taste sensation.
Finally, a hamburger for the Hindus by the tusks of great Ganesh.
Look at them picking out on all those chemicals and whatever the hell is in that thing.
Look at me, I'm saving the earth. Where's my Nobel Prize?
You're about to get a prize all right, Homer. And so is the rest of the family.
Oh, would some warm beer settle you down? Uh-oh. Those barley burgers were tainted. Why did I eat 12 of them?
Taken. Occupied. Hurling.
Heck, all of Springfield has their face firmly pressed against their toilet thanks to Krusty's vile veggie burger.
The food poisoning has been traced to a single ingredient. And where does that barley come from? Our neighbor to the southeast, Ogdenville.
Basically, Krusty didn't do his proper due diligence, and the barley he used in the burgers had been tainted by rats. In the episode, Ogdenville gets most of the blame, but I'm not going to let Krusty get off that lightly. Giving a whole town food poisoning is crazy work, even if it wasn't intentional. The sheer scale here is what's going to cost Krusty. Thousands were poisoned, and his pocket is going to pick up most of the consequences. But before we get to that, he'd still easily get 3 years of jail time for this. At least 30,000 were infected. But as far as fines go, geez, you got loss of earnings, ER visits, potential lawsuits. I'd say each person is likely to cost Krusty $500 each on average, which would be about $15 million. That's enough to bankrupt him for the next lifetime over. Although he's about to be forking out a hell of a lot more. As we've seen so far, Krusty will put his face or name on anything if he thinks it'll make him a quick buck, and one of his most famous money-making schemes is the time he set up his own summer camp. Camp Krusty. Bart and Lisa are desperate to go, but they're only allowed if they pass all their classes. For Lisa, that's a piece of cake. But Bart?
Here are your grades.
Oh no. If I don't get a C average, my dad won't let me go to Camp Krusty.
Yeah, not exactly his forte, let's just put it like that. But he is a pretty smart kid in other areas of life, and he grabs his report card, gets to work trying to make it look like he's passed.
So, Bart, will you be joining me in the bucolic splendor of Camp Krusty? Check out this hand. All aces.
Lisa might be laughing, but she's not the one you've got to fool. It's Homer. And I wonder if he's gonna buy Bart's story.
Well, Dad, here's my report card.
Hey, plus, you don't think much of me, do you, boy? You know, a D turns into a B so easily. You just got greedy.
Man, it must be bad if Homer can see through Bart's plan. But while he's a straight D student, he gets an A for effort, and Homer lets him go to camp anyway.
You mean I can go?
Yeah, I didn't want you hanging around all summer anyway.
You're the best father a boy could ever have.
So the kids head off for a fun-filled summer with Krusty the Clown, or so they thought. It turns out Krusty isn't even at the camp, and it's basically a hollow version of the paradise they were promised.
Welcome to Camp Krusty. I'll see you in a few weeks. Until then, I've turned things over to my bestest buddy in the whole wide world.
Mr. Black.
I want you to treat
Mr. Black.
with the same respect you would give me.
Mr. Black has some special camp counselors to make things run smoothly.
In the meantime, our counselors, Dolph, Jimbo, and Kearney, to handle any problems you may have.
Looks like we got ourselves a troublemaker.
Ooh, nothing says fun like being bullied all summer. If you think that's bad, though, you should see the state of their accommodation. I wouldn't let my dog sleep there.
This is a little more rustic than I expected.
Okay, so Krusty hadn't splashed the cash on somewhere to sleep, but I'm sure the grub is good, right?
Don't we get to roast marshmallows?
Shut up, meet your pine cone.
What's wrong, Bart? You hardly touched your molten plastic and gas-covered burnt pine cone. And even when the kids finally get to do something half fun, it nearly kills them.
Are you sure that's safe? Well, it ain't getting any safer.
I guess you could forgive Krusty so far. I mean, he's super cheap, but you know, it's not the end of the world. But what I'm about to show you here crosses every line imaginable.
All right, you balls of pan drippings. I want to see Crisco coming out of those pores. Until this Christmas ham gives me a pull-up.
Is anyone else getting early 1940s Germany vibes? Because that's what Krusty's kind of running here, a concentration camp. Like, if you thought roasted pine cones were bad, take a look at this slop they're served.
You're serving us gruel?
Not quite. This is Krusty brand imitation gruel. Orphans can't tell the difference.
And like the orphans that were just mentioned, the kids are soon put to work.
In actuality, a Dickensian workhouse.
Come on, these Gucci wallets have to be on the streets of Hong Kong by Friday.
The kids are obviously struggling to deal with their new surroundings. I mean, they're essentially slaves at this point, and the only thing that can keep them sane is the hope that Krusty himself might drop by, and guess what? Today's the day.
See? I told you Krusty would come. Just like I said, he's gonna bring us food and water.
Hey, look, I think Krusty's lost some weight. Seriously, though, this is the final blow for Bart. He can't take it anymore, decides to rally the troops against the regime.
My chunky brothers, gorge yourselves at the trough of freedom.
Sweet, nourishing gruel.
Kowalski!
The kids turn into wild animals and run the older kids and Mr. Black out of camp just in time for Kent Brockman in the news to stop by and catch it all on camera.
A group of school-age Spartacuses has taken this camp by force. 3 counselors are missing and presumed scared.
To save his image, Krusty has no choice but to fly to the camp and meet the kids.
Oh, They drove a dump truck full of money up to my house. I'm not made of stone.
See, like I said, he'll do anything for $1. To make it up to the kids, Krusty has an idea of a real summer break.
Get ready for 2 weeks at the happiest place on earth, Tijuana!
South of the border.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. One little vacation is not going to undo all the stuff that happened on your watch, Krusty. The level of child endangerment here is off the scale. There's no real food, no real water, no real place to sleep, no health and safety checks, and no supervising adults. Talking strictly prison time, that cost Krusty at least 9 years of his whole frackin' life. Plus, the whole concentration camp vibe pushes this even further off the deep end. He'd be getting another 9 years for that, no problem, taking his total prison time for Camp Krusty to 18 years. Now let's talk potential fines. There's around 50 kids at the camp, and I see no reason why each kid couldn't get at least $100,000 from him in restitutions. And I did say each, costing him a grand total of $5 million. Which is way more than those charlatans brought to his house when he signed everything off. I told you this clown was a certified criminal. We're only at the halfway mark and he's already managed to stack up 26 years behind bars with a humongous $20,385,000 in fines. Trust me though, he's done a lot worse than what we've seen so far. He can pretend he's innocent, but this next crime, there's no defense for. Krusty has a few sidekicks that stick around when he's doing his shows. There's Sideshow Mel, there was Sideshow Bob, but the constant guy by his side is his pet monkey, Mr. Teeny. Well, I say pet.
Go wait in the car.
Yeah, he's more of an enhancer, and he enhances more than just Krusty's act. He writes the darn thing.
Every year we find one good Samaritan would make Santa Claus himself vomit with rage. Who writes this stuff?
And sure, maybe Mr. Teeny enjoys getting behind the typewriter, but let's be honest, he's forced to work for Krusty. He's a monkey for crying out loud, he shouldn't be backstage, and he certainly shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car.
Hey, moron! Springfield Elementary and step on it.
You know where 123 Fake Street is? It's okay. Hey, we got the same hat.
Come on, Krusty, that's no way to talk to a guy who literally does everything for you. It's not like he cares anyway. I mean, what sort of owner would let their pets smoke? Huh?
You've fallen right into my trap, just like you did in Africa.
That's the tip of the iceberg, though. He also has Teeny do his dirty work, like the time he tried getting his monkey friend to attack Maggie.
Teeny, take out the baby!
Or the time he tried getting Teeny to trash Marge's new deli because it was a threat to his Krusty Burger site.
Go ahead, Teeny.
It's a good thing the little guy likes turkey, or I'd be adding criminal damage to Krusty's rap sheet. So as you guys can see, Krusty couldn't care less about Teeny, but it gets a little worse than that, because sometimes Krusty is, well, a bit of a psychopath, really, and he likes to run experiments on his primate pal, like the time he threw him back into the wild.
They made me release him into the wild.
What's even crazier is that the Mr. Teeny from now isn't the same Mr. Teeny we saw from earlier seasons. I'll let Krusty explain.
We're gonna drop him out of a blimp tomorrow and see what happens. Don't worry, nothing's gonna happen to Teeny number 7.
Well, let's just park the fact he's dropping his pet out of a blimp for a sec. He's just admitted to having 7 different Mr. Teenys throughout the years. That means he's either killed or been a huge factor in killing 6 others. This level of repeated animal torture and cruelty would land Krusty in some serious hot water. For every Mr. Teeny that died due to his neglect, he'd easily get 3 years a pop. So that's 18 years before we've even blinked. He'd get another 2 years for the current treatment of Teeny too, so that rounds us up to a nice even 20. But then he also allowed Teeny to drive around the streets of Springfield, and while he didn't injure anyone, that's still reckless endangerment, so we can add the minimum term of 5 years for that, which brings his overall sentence from this section to a well-deserved 25 years in the slammer. Oh, he'd also get a whopping $70K fine to boot. At least Krusty doesn't discriminate, though, because what you've seen him do to Mr. Teeny, he'd more than happily do to Homer, as we're about to find out. My dear viewer, I ask you, what does the world need more of? More understanding? More food? More clowns? Well, I'm sure you guys can guess which one Krusty slides with. He wants more clowns. So, what does he do? Well, he opens up his own clown college, and who else but Homer wants to give clowning a shot? Let's just say he's a little obsessed.
Marge?
Yes, homie?
So Homer enrolls in maybe the only college that'll accept him, and you know what? He feels at home right away.
Those are supposed to be baggy pants.
I've never had a pants that fit this well in my life.
And it turns out Homer's pretty good at this clown stuff. I mean, you guys can't tell me this isn't hilarious. After a strong showing in class, Krusty's mind is made up and he picks Homer as his official impersonator. There are a few things Homer hasn't quite picked up, though, like he's pretty trash at making balloon animals.
And then take that, and there's your giraffe, little girl.
Boy.
Never give up.
With Krusty having an impersonator, he's suddenly got a whole heap of free time, and you know how he spends it? By gambling.
Let me get this straight. You took all the money you made and bet it against the Harlem Globetrotters?
I thought the generals were due.
I mean, can you really gamble goodly? His gambling debts aren't with a normal company or casino, though. Krusty has made a bet and lost with the mob.
I am afraid the time has come for you to pay us.
Just take the clown college.
We have already taken it.
He doesn't have the money to pay, and the mob isn't gonna wait around. Krusty heads to the bathroom before he's bumped off and slips away, but he knows that Homer is nearby, and he lets the mob target him instead.
These are speed holes. They make the car go faster. I think you should buy this car.
We need more ammo. Let's go to Big Five.
The mob catch up with Homer at the house and kidnap him, taking him for a ride.
Hey! But wait! You can't kill me for being Krusty. I'm Homer Simpson!
They don't believe him, and Fat Tony and the boys get ready to get to work on Krusty, but as they're about to pull the trigger, the real Krusty bursts through the door.
Hey, guys, I came to, Oh, you got a deadly game of cat and mouse going. I'll come back.
I'm seeing double here. 4 Krusties.
Hey, Paulie, you might want to get those eyes of yours checked. Krusty has no choice but to cough up the money he owes, and you'll never guess how much it is.
$48. Here's 50.
To your change, and we thank you.
He nearly got Homer killed for $48? Geez, Krusty, if I knew things were that tight, I'd let you borrow a 50. Now, you guys might think it's a case of wrong place, wrong time for a homie, and Krusty doesn't have any problems with him. There's another episode of the show I want to take a look at where Krusty goes crazy because of Homer. After he criticizes Krusty's show, the clown loses it and wants to kill him.
Tesla, your 900-pound is the perfect killing machine.
Where do I know that guy?
He chases Homer through the streets of Springfield using his Tesla's autopilot so he can grab Homer through his car window.
Like my show!
Is it season 4 again?
I'm not sure what Tesla thought about how their autopilot system would be used, but I think it's fair to say that it wouldn't be like that. Homer and Krusty continue to Tesla up Mount Springfield until their cars veer off of the mountain. Both of them end up surviving, although they're pretty bruised and battered. There's no way around this, though. That's fully fledged attempted murder. If anything, Homer's lucky he survived. So for letting Homer take the flak over his measly gambling debts to the mob, I can't see Krusty getting anything less than 8 years in the slammer. Honestly, considering he almost got a guy killed for $50, that's kinda light, but there's no denying that he should be given a maximum sentence for attempted murder for what he did to Homer with his Tesla. Both are attempted murder, but one is worse than the other. The max sentence for attempted murder is 25 years, and I'd also add the worth of Homer's car that he caused to be wrecked as a fine. So that's a grand total of 32 years behind bars, with Krusty needing to pay out $17,000 to Homer to boot. Although if he can't pay $48, I can't see how he's going to be able to fork out $17,000. We've seen Krusty do some real evil stuff so far, and while his next crime might not be his worst morally, it's gonna cost him big time. If Krusty is mad about money and he's Bart's hero, it only makes sense that at some point, Bart's gonna be money mad too. Well, to be more specific, he's check mad. He gets a checkbook, starts handing out checks like there's no tomorrow.
Excellent! As soon as the check clears, I'll let you go.
When he's not splashing cash he doesn't have, Bart spends his time watching Krusty, and he really wants his signature, so he figures that if he has Krusty sign a check, but when he finally has Krusty's signature, he notices something super fishy.
And Krusty! Jim, Cayman Islands Offshore Holding Corporation.
Yeah, that's not good. Most kids here would just shrug their shoulders and bin the paper, but not Bart. He marches down to the bank, asks some questions. You better believe he's gonna get answers. The bank makes some calls, and they realize that Krusty is guilty of the worst crime ever, according to the government: tax evasion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't divulge information. Illegal account. Oh, crap. I shouldn't have said it was a customer. I shouldn't have said it was a secret. I certainly shouldn't have said it was illegal.
The cops quickly clamp down on Krusty, and he's in custody before he can even pop his corn.
Bought this popcorn fair and square.
The IRS doesn't want to put him in jail, though. They want to take a huge chunk of his salary until the debt is repaid. So, like, what, 30% of his wages for a year or two?
It simply means we'll be taking part of your salary until your debt is repaid. 75% for 40 years.
Well, better make it 95%.
Oh, boy.
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten that he's been let off the hook with his tax evasion, even if they're killing him financially. But we'll get to that later, because right now, Krusty is facing a huge problem. He hasn't got a dime to his name for the rest of his life. He even has to sell his house.
Krusty? Hi, is it okay if I sit down here?
Go ahead, kid. Knock yourself out.
I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused you, Krusty.
I'm not sure you're going to want to be near him, Krusty, when you find out what he's done.
Forget it. Go home.
If I found out some kid had ruined my entire life, I'm not sure I'd show that level of restraint. That's a joke, guys. I'd obviously never be found guilty of tax evasion or being a clown. Even though Krusty's plane had been sold, he decides to give it one last spin. Last being the important word there.
Oh, that's my Krusty. He'll be all right.
With Krusty now dead, his debt dies with him, and everyone just remembers the good stuff he did for the town, which it doesn't take long. His death hits Bart pretty hard, not just because his favorite clown is gone, but because he also feels like he played a big part in causing it.
Don't let Krusty's death get you down. People die all the time. Why, you could wake up dead tomorrow.
Way to go, Homer. That's how you reassure a kid. Bart's luck is about to pick up, though, because while he's moping around, he notices a familiar face drive by.
Krusty! Mom, I just saw Krusty!
In your mind.
No, on the street.
Gotta admit, that guy did look pretty Krusty-like. Even if Marge and Lisa don't believe him, Bart presses on and tracks down that familiar face to the docks.
Sorry, I don't do impressions.
How come you have the exact same signature as him?
And I got a lot of corroborating evidence by the throttle.
Oh. Come on, it can't end like that, can it?
Oh, two could have said something instead of letting me make an ass of myself.
And Krusty's superfluous third nipple.
Can't you see I don't want to be Krusty anymore? That's why I faked my death.
Uh-huh, they gotcha. And Krusty has no choice but to confess that he faked his own death.
Just before I hit the mountain, jumped out of the plane, carefully placed net.
So now that we've blown your cover, I guess you gotta come back and do your show again.
Although Krusty wanted to live life on the sea, he actually does have another plan up his sleeve to show how he can come back to life and face his debts head on.
So, Krusty, what are you gonna do about your tax problem?
The life of Rory B. Bellows.
So not only is he guilty of tax evasion and faking his own death, he's also guilty of insurance fraud. For the tax evasion, he's likely to get around 5 years in jail for every year he dodged paying. Krusty is 52, so let's say he's been using offshore accounts since he was 35. That's 17 years, which comes out to 85 years in the slammer when you do the math. Then you got the fact that he faked his own death, which would count as fraud, as well as the life insurance fraud we see him commit at the end there. That put another 20 years on a sentence for sure. As for any fines, boy, Krusty's sure gonna pay back Uncle Sam here, because I'd imagine he'd have to fork over at least $20 million in unpaid taxes, fines, and repay his life insurance payout to boot. I know it's not nice, Krusty, but you should have just swallowed your own pride here, took the salary hit, because now you're going to jail for 105 years. So when it's all said and done, Krusty the Clown is being put away for a long time, to say the least. He'd be super lucky to get anything less than a whopping 188 years in the slammer. He's gonna need to work every year of his sentence to come even close to paying off his fines. They sit at $40,472,000. That even hurt Mr. Burns to pay. Not really. If you guys want to see other cartoon characters get their comeuppance, then head on over to my channel. But if you're feeling fancy, why not give the video that's popped up on screen a click? It's just as good as the one you watched. Maybe even better. But as always, guys, thank you for watching.